Okay, so let's continue our class. For MCQ set number 2, I have shared the, kenapa I punya ni macam, why is this? Okay lah, never mind. For MCQ set number 2, I have shared the answer in the WhatsApp, so you can check from the WhatsApp, and any issues can let me know. Okay, what's that? Assuming you have done on Kaplan BPP, Kaplan MCQ, next I'm going to provide you or supply you with BPP MCQ question. Some of the question is the same, but no rush. I mean, you don't have to be so stressed to complete those MCQ. I suppose those BPP MCQ question, you may do it when you, let's say, sometimes you are too exhausted to sit down and attempt a full set of questions. Sometimes you are too tired to attempt section B question. Then therefore you may want to look into section A question, which is your MCQ. Okay, so someone remind me in the group if I haven't furnished you with the BPP MCQ by tomorrow. Right, so now we are done for MCQ. We have to move forward. So now let's move to answering audit risk question. Okay, audit risk question. I'm going to use my module, which I handpicked the question for you guys. Okay. Okay, so we are going to straight away look into Magpie whole question. Okay, all right. Before that, in the previous page, there are some notes relating to audit risk, but I think I have covered this. I've given you, right, the suggested setup, suggested sentence to use, okay, what to be included in your answer and so on. Okay, so let's have a quick recap down here. So for audit risk question, audit risk can come out in question number 16 or question number 17. Okay, all right. So audit risk question, two column. The first column is audit risk. The second column is auditor's response. Okay, so all right. So how to write audit risk answer? You may copy and paste from the scenario. Okay, don't waste your time in summarize the issues or try to amend the sentence for a cosmetic purpose just to make sure, like, don't have to waste time to reword something. Okay, just if you need to, if you think that it should be adjusted somewhere here and there, maybe just 1 or 2 sentences, okay, would be sufficient. But no need to summarize the issues from the scenario. Okay, just copy and paste, then you get the first half mark. Okay, now the explanation part, as mentioned in first class, my suggested setup would be for you to put the wording if at the front. Okay, and then you throw in your professional skepticism here. Okay, then okay, what is the accounts impacted here? Okay, will be either overstated or understated. Can you use will be materially misstated? The answer is yes, but only for a certain specific scenario only. Okay, all right. Now response. Be careful. This is a main student mistake, which is some student which is very not well prepared. Okay, very not well prepared. Say something like FD should, or the company should, or Magpie should. Okay, the name of the company should. Guys, this is obviously a wrong answer. Why? Because this is auditor's response. Okay, so FD, the company, no. The name of the company also, no. Okay, be careful. This is a very careless and silly mistake. Please don't do it. Okay, so now how to write auditor's response? You can think of your substantive procedure, okay, to generate answer for auditor's response, to generate answer relating to auditor's response. But if you practice enough question, you would actually already see a pattern in what is the correct response for the specific risk. Okay, so yeah, so I think that's all. Okay, so let's go. I don't want to waste any time. Let's jump to the question. Okay, but for the purpose of this question, I would like to use my laptop instead of my iPad. So give me some time. I would like to change my screen. Hold on, yeah. If you are using your laptop as well, you may set your screen. Right side is your Microsoft Word, and left side is your question. Okay, left side is your question. Hold on, I want to set my page for a while. This is 7. Ask me 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Risk auditors response. Okay. Okay, cool. All right, so you guys ready? Can start ready? You can show, you can sort out your screen like this. If you're ready, can type in the chat box. Okay. All right, so let's go. What is the first step to approach this type of question? I believe same across all ACCA paper, which is to read the requirement. Okay, so let's go. But this one, I only extract requirement B and requirement C for the purpose of audit risk. Okay, all right, now requirement B, using the table below, calculate the following two ratios for both years to assist you in planning the audit of Magpie Co. Okay, operating profit margin and payable payment period. So ala lama, all question, they don't really decide for you which of the ratios to calculate. Okay, all question that they will not decide on behalf of you specific ratios to be calculated. But for the current pattern question, they already decide for you or be specific lah in which of the ratios that they want you to calculate. Okay, so yeah. So guys, quickly, can you help me to calculate these two? Operating profit margin and also payable payment period. Operating profit margin is basically operating profit. Oh, too small. Too small. Divide by apa ya? Divide by revenue, am I right? Divide by revenue times 100%. Okay, can you calculate for me for X5 and X4? Payable payment period is trade payable. Divide by cost of sales. Cost of sales times 365 days. Okay, same thing guys, can you calculate for me? X4 and X5 and type in the chat box. I give you a few minutes to calculate. You don't have to worry about this column. In exam, of course, this column will be provided to you. So you just have to fill in the blank. Okay, operating profit margin and payable payment period. Payable payment period is the same as trade payable turnover days. Okay. Okay, do we have any answer for this one, OPM?
1.82%.
1.82.
Yeah.
Betul ke ni 1.82? Betul kan? Okay. X4. $4.62. This one is 4.62. 62%. Okay. For profit margin, I would suggest 2 decimal point. Okay. But for turnover days, I suggest you just round up, meaning that no need to put in decimal point. Okay. So let's say 46.5 days, round up to become 47. Okay. 48.9 days become 49 days. Right. So what about this one? Payable payment period for X5? $64 days. Okay, what about prior year? So do you have to bring your calculator to exam? Obviously, yes. Okay. Any error here? Anyone want to dispute any calculation here? Any issues on the ratios calculated? No? No issues. Okay, good. All right. So now you have secured 2 marks. You have secured 2 marks, which is okay, like that. All right. So move on to the next requirement. Okay, using the information provided and the ratios calculated, describe 7 audit risks and explain the auditor's response to each risk in planning the audit of Magpie Co. Meaning to say that you need to come up with 7 audit risks and you may use ratios calculated here, ratios provided here. Okay, what else? And all the information given here. Okay, and let's say if 7 audit risks that you describe here coming from the information only, that is actually no issues. If you are not really comfortable in using ratios to generate your audit risk, actually no problem at all. Okay, but in AAA, it's a different story because they have professional skills mark. You have to adhere to the examiner's requirement. But in AAA, still okay. All right, now Now, what is actually audit risk? Let's recap on what is audit risk. Audit risk, as per what you learn in maybe masterclass or in your lectures with your lecturers, it is actually inherent risk times control risk times detection risk. Okay, inherent risk is actually the nature of the business itself is prone to error. Example, a complicated, not to say complicated, a complex industry, company operating in complex industry. Okay, so this kind of company, of course, complex industry, of course, their financial statement would be not so straightforward. And we can foresee there's a lot of error in the financial statement due to the complex nature of the entity itself. Okay, that is inherent risk. Or maybe the company is going to be listed in the stock exchange. Okay, they opt to be a listed entity. So the nature of the company now is become more prone to error. Why? Because perhaps they want to show a good financial statement to attract more shareholders. Okay, so the nature of the entity is risky. Okay, that one falls under the category of inherent risk. Okay, control risk, meaning that the company have no internal control, okay, or poor internal control. If company have no internal control or poor internal control, we can say that there's a lot of, there's a lot of fraudulent activity going on in the company. Okay, so that is actually under control risk. Okay, and detection risk is basically on the auditor side. Inherent risk and control risk is due to the entity, but detection risk is due to the auditor. Okay, example, if this is a new client or auditor faced with a tight deadline, what about new client? New client meaning that what's wrong with new client? What's wrong with new client is that auditor don't really doesn't really have accumulated knowledge about this new client. So therefore, it might be difficult for auditor to identify, this is a misstatement, this is a misstatement, this is a misstatement. Same concept as per if you get to know your new friends. Okay, you don't know, you don't really know much about them. You don't know what are their bad habits. Okay, so same concept. So auditor, new client, they might not be able to identify where is the material mistake because they don't have much information about this new client yet. Okay, and number two, tight deadline. Auditor is in rush to complete the audit. Just like how you in rush to complete something, you don't care how you do it, but what you know is you want to get it done. So if auditor is in tight deadline, perhaps they cannot, they overlook the misstatement in the FS, and they are unable to because they are rushing to get the audit done. Okay, all right, now combining these two, inherent risk times control risk, this is where you have your what we call as a risk of material misstatement. What is risk of material misstatement? It is basically risk that client not comply with accounting standard. You imagine this situation, okay? Inherent risk combined with control risk. The company nature is complex, and at the same time, they have poor internal control. No one review, no one approve this, no one approve that, recon tak buat. What happened? Surely their financial statement would have a lot of misstatement. Surely higher risk that the company did not comply with the accounting standard. Which accounting standard? It could be anything. Okay, so that's why your answer in audit risk, mainly you are talking about the company did not comply with IAS 2, the company did not comply with IAS 38, the company did not comply with IAS 16 PPE. Okay, it's because the combination of inherent risk and control risk. Okay, right now, let's straight away jump to the scenario. Okay, now that you know what is audit risk, what is the meaning of all this, perhaps this can be tested in theory question also. Okay, to a theory question. Okay, jom, let's read the scenario together and complete this question together. Later on, I will give you some time. I hope sempat lah hari ni we cover the next question as well. Tapi kalau tak sempat, if we cannot make it to the second question, still okay. I allocate 2 days for audit risk. Okay, 2 days for audit risk. But perhaps if we cannot, we are unable to complete the second question together today, perhaps this will be your homework lah. Okay, so that next class, we can straight away discuss your answer. Okay, straight away I want to look into your answer, pinpoint to you what's wrong with your answer so that we can improve together. Okay, now focus on the left side. Focus on the left side. Okay, it is 1st July 2015. Okay, you are the audit supervisor at Crow & Co. and are finalizing the planning of your new client, guys. New client, Magpie Co. for the forthcoming audit for the year ending 31st July 2015. Okay, so we are 1 month before year end. I'm not going to waste any time since I know this is my points for audit risk. I'm going to put here And to guide me in answering this question, I'm going to straight away put this is a detection risk as per what we have discussed down here. Okay, all right. Next, Magpie is a retailer of garden supply which operate from 20 stores across the country and employ 400 staff. So it's a medium-sized company, I suppose. The audit manager has attended a meeting with the finance director and has provided you with the following notes of that meeting and financial statement extract. Okay, so we are planning. We are currently at the planning stage. Okay, if you still remember, I talked to you kan about the flow of the audit. Did I talk to you about the flow of the audit? Hold on. Oh no, I did not, but it's okay. All right, so we are at the planning stage. Planning stage means auditor is not yet performing the audit. Auditor is only planning what to do with this client. What is the procedure to be done? What is my areas of concern? That is planning stage. Okay, and during that planning stage, audit manager attend meeting with the finance director to talk about the company lah, to get more. Just now this is a new client, right? So we have to meet with the finance director to get as much information as possible from this finance director. Okay, so this is the extract of the meeting. Okay, now in your mind, I want you to look for risk of material misstatement. Okay, look for what to look for. Number one, you can look for detection risk. You can look for detection risk, which we have found one, right? And number two, look for risk of material misstatement, which is the combination of inherent risk and control risk. Okay, and you might want to look for any fraud. Okay, can also be included in audit risk question. Okay, and number four, you can look into, is there any going concern issues? Okay, this is the matters that you might want to look into when reading or go through the information given. Okay, take note on this. So apply this for for matters or for point of view. Okay, every time you attempt audit risk question. Okay, cari detection risk, cari risk of material misstatement, cari ada tak fraud. But this one is a bit jarang lah. It's a bit rare for you to come across fraud. And this one also a bit rare. Okay, if the company have any going concern issues. Okay, so during the year, the company spent 0.75 on refurbishing its store to improve the customer experience. Guys, hint for you. If examiner includes some figure, it is likely that is one of the audit risk points. Okay, so now what is the story about this 0.75 million? It is a refurbishment. Okay, fine, still no risk. All of this expenditure has been recognized in the statement of financial position as PPE. Okay, now guys, refurbishment. What do we know about refurbishment? Refurbishment is basically, okay, like a major renovation. Not to say major renovation, like a refurbishment lah. Refurbishment here means sometimes you repair something, sometimes you improve something, you add on something, you take out something. Okay, that is refurbishment. In AA, it is they are not, examiners are not going to be clear on whether this is renovation or is this improvement, kan? Because yeah, in real audit, mana dia? The finance director is not going to be clear with us also. Finance director is going to say that, oh yeah, we refurbish our store. But we have to, kalau dalam bahasa Melayu, kena pandai-pandai sendirilah. Pandai-pandai sendiri in evaluate that yeah, refurbishment could include some renovation or upgrading. Okay, you have to be what is pandai-pandai sendiri in English? Tak datang pula vocab tu dekat I. What is pandai-pandai sendiri? Agak-agak. Okay, assume, yeah. Thank you, Najah. We have to assume ourselves lah. Oh, refurbishment meaning that there could be a renovation, repairing works, upgrading works, and so on. Okay, but here stating that all of this expenditure capitalized or recognized in PPE. Okay, this is where you want to bring in your professional skepticism. What if this 0.75 million include those expenses which is repairing in nature, which is revenue expenditure instead of capital expenditure? Okay, because guys, remember, PPE is part of asset, and when it is asset, client client tend to overstate asset, overstate PPE. So yeah, it's fair to say that, oh, maybe some of this figure here, which is being capitalized, include those costs which doesn't meet the criteria to be capitalized. Okay, so as a student, if I am the student, I'm going to copy this whole thing straight away here. Am I going to summarize this scenario here and there? change some wording here and there? Of course, no. Okay, perhaps what I'm going to do is just to make my, like a bit cantik sikit lah. Okay, alright, done. Then I'm going to maybe put my answer planning here. May include apa? May include a revenue expenditure. Okay, may include revenue expenditure, maybe such as repairing costs, etc. Okay, just to get to get something in my mind to my answer script, so that later on when I am in the mood for when you start to type, it will be easier. Okay, moving on. In addition, I'm still recovering, so yeah, it's still hard for me to talk sebab sometimes I got blocked nose, but I think today is better. Okay, so kalau I macam a bit semput, sorry lah. So in addition, the company also installed a new sales system during the year, which record all sales and receivable. Guys, sales and receivable, take note. They give you hint that impacted FS could be sales and receivable. Okay, but I need more information about this system. So the system enables daily sales from each store to be automatically reported to the centralized finance department at the end of each working day. Okay, good. As the system is from a market leading provider, meaning that as the system is a well-known, okay, maybe the auditor, it was not felt necessary for who? For the client, for the finance director, to run the old and the new system in parallel. Guys, what is the meaning of parallel? To run in parallel. To run in parallel means they are going to run both the old and the new system together. Okay, the same transaction, update in old system and also update in new system. And then both running at the same time. Up until the company is confident with their new system, then only they stop using the old system and continue with the new system. Okay, you get what I mean? This is what it means by parallel, which is very good. This is how it should be. If you are going to change system A to system B, maybe for a few months, okay, first month, second month, you run in parallel. You run both systems together. Yes, it will be a bit costly, a lot of works to do, but it is safer this way. Okay, because we don't know what will happen to the new system yet. Okay, so this is the point of view of the company. But point of view of the auditor, yeah, auditor would feel like, what is auditor's concern? Number one, how reliable is this new system? How reliable is this new system? Number two, even though the new system is reliable, what if there is a loss in data from the old system to the new system? Loss in transferring data from the old system to the new system. Okay, two concerns of auditor relating to the system. Okay, so if if in your exam later they only mention this, okay, without this, still you can talk about the new system. You can talk about, oh, there's a new system. So auditor's concern would be on the reliability of the, what if, and your skepticism will be, what if the new system is not reliable? What if there is a loss in transferring data between the old system to the new system? Okay, so what accounts impacted? This is the accounts impacted here. Okay, so what's that? I'm going to copy this everything and paste here. Okay, so if I think this one is a bit lengthy, perhaps I'm going to cross this one lah. Okay, I think this one not applicable, not really applicable lah in my answer. But if you are not sure on which of the sentence to be taken out from the sentence, then just let it be. Okay, dia ada dekat situ. Okay, so my thought just now would be, what is my skepticism? There's a loss of data during transferring, and one more is basically just now, my skepticism is, what if the new system not reliable? Okay, and on top of that, not run in parallel. Okay, I'm just throwing my thoughts in my answer plan. Okay, next. Customer are able to pay for their goods using either cash or credit card. Okay, at the end of the working day, the store manager generate a report from each cash register, which confirm the cash taking. Cash register is the cashier machine. The cash is then counted and compared to the report. Since the new sales system was installed, head office now receive daily cash taking reports, which have shown an increasing number of cash shortage at each store. These differences have not been investigated or reconciled on the basis that they have only been small amounts. Okay, now, I know some of you think that, like, no idea what to write relating to audit risk here. Okay? Hands up, guys. Give me hands up. Anyone who feels that don't know what audit risk here? Mana hands up ni? Macam mana nak buat hands up? Okay. Guys, don't worry. If you decide to just ignore this paragraph, totally ignore this paragraph, I think you are still safe. You are still okay. Because if examiner asks for 7 audit risks, they are actually more than 7. Okay? But since this is a class, then I'm going to tell you what is the answer. Look into this. Is there detection risk? No. Is there any risk of material misstatement? Difficult for you to pinpoint what is the risk of material misstatement. Then fraud, guys. Cash shortage, okay, is the indications of fraud. You have to remember there are 2 types of fraud. Fraud number 1 is fraudulent financial statement, where the management will window dress the financial statement, manipulate the financial statement to show a favorable financial report. Okay, and fraud number 2 is misappropriations of asset. In this case, cash is the asset. Okay, so you can actually, number 4, you can talk about what's that? This one lah. Okay, this one right here. Okay, and then you can talk about this. There's actually fraud risk lah. Fraud risk. Okay, this one, guys, is actually relating to your control risk. But to be honest, if I am the student, kalau I student, I pun tak nak ambil point ni as my answer. Why? Because I don't know. I'm a bit bukan I'm a bit lah. Examiner is not being really consistent lah on this fraud risk punya pattern of answer. Okay, so only use this if you running out of points. Okay, so if you are not comfortable with this, guys, tips, just ignore the whole sentence, the whole paragraph. If you scroll to my short notes right here, you would notice at the very last paragraph here, okay, the scenario will typically contain more than the number of risks required. So choose wisely, leave any points which you found difficult to elaborate. Sorry, this is not what I want to highlight to you. Itu yang I dah highlight lah kan. But tips for you, easy points. There will be easy points usually at the end of the in the last paragraph. But this setup last paragraph is the ratios kan. So maybe sometimes easy points is in the last paragraph. Okay, right, let's move on. Okay, the company has a number of corporate customers who buy goods on 90 days credit term. Okay, and the level of receivable which are overdue for payment has increased, okay, from the prior year. Okay, the level of receivable which are overdue for payment has increased from the prior year. However, meaning to say that their customer took longer time to pay them. Okay, which could trigger the issues of doubtful debt, right? Okay, but let's get some more information. However, the finance director has said she does not intend to make any further allowance for receivable, aka doubtful debt, as overdue payments are becoming common in the industry. Is this a reasonable justification? I don't think so. Okay, just now I noticed here, receivable collection period, guys. Last year was 101 days, but this year increased quite significantly to become 149 days. That's quite a lot, right? So I think, bring in, pretend that you are the auditor. If I am auditor, I'm still going to pressure finance director to increase the allowance for receivable, allowance for doubtful debt. Okay, the same thing. Allowance for receivable, allowance for doubtful debt. Apa lagi? Allowance for trade receivable, it's the same thing. Hold on, give me a second. Okay, let's continue. All right. Okay, so I'm going to put this here. Okay, and since I have some extra information, okay, I'm going to put that here as well. This is relating the same thing. So I'm going to put here receivables for prior year is 101 days and current year is 149 days. Guys, please don't bother to calculate what is the increase. Don't bother to take out your calculator, 149 deduct by 101, no need lah. Just, throw the factual figures there. Okay, because it's quite obvious, right? It's a significant increase. Okay, so what is my concern? What is the skepticism I want to bring in here? I'm going to bring in here the skepticism of maybe who is this? What is the name of the client just now? Magpie, right? Magpie did not recognize sufficient allowance for doubtful debt. Okay, because why? Because increase significantly lah. Trade receivable turnover days increase significantly. Okay, right. So let's move further. Yeah, I think that in this paragraph, just one point, just one risk. Okay, now 6 and 7. The payables ledger clerk has carried out supplier statement record. What is supplier statement record? If we are buying something from supplier, we have supplier, every month end, supplier will send us a statement. The concept is the same as bank statement. Bank usually will send a statement, right, to us on monthly basis on what is the transaction happened during the month, as well as balance, our money balance kan, at the end of the month. For example, for this month, in my bank account, I ada RM30 lagi. Example. Okay, so same like supplier. Supplier will send to their customer, excuse me, which is us. Okay, they are going to send statement stating that in those statement is what are the transaction happened between us this month, and at the end of the statement, we can see the outstanding balance that we have to pay them. Okay, so as a customer, when I receive this supplier statement, I'm going to basically, this is a best practice, to look into the outstanding balance. Okay, supplier mentioned, Shahira, you owe us for this month 200,000. So the best practice is I should agree to my payable ledger. What is my record? Client record, supplier records is 200,000. Now what is my records? What is the outstanding balance due to this supplier? So I'm going to check to my records. Is it the same figure? If same figure, then okay, fine. I mean, okay lah, okay. There's nothing to do. But if it is a different figure, we notice that in our payable ledger, show what, 150,000, difference of 50,000. Okay, so when we notice difference, we have to find out why. This find out why is what we call supplier statement reconciliation. Just like your bank record lah. Bank record is difference between cash book, aka cash ledger, with the bank statement, right? So you are going to find out what is the difference. Oh, there is a unpresented check, outstanding lodgement, a bank charges, and so on. So in supplier statement, we are going to find out what is the difference. The usual difference would be due to cash in transit, goods in transit, or merely error. Okay, so that is supplier statement record. Why did I explain to you in detail what is supplier statement record? Is because in past year question, there is a substantive procedure question, SP, relating to supplier statement record only. 4 to 5 marks, I cannot remember. Okay, so that's why you need to know what is actually supplier statement record. Okay, moving on. So the payable ledger clerk has carried out supplier statement record during the year, and a number of instances, the supplier statement have shown a balance owing by the company, which is higher than the balance on the payable ledger. Okay, these differences have been included as reconciling item on the supplier statement record by the payables ledger clerk, but no further work has been performed on these differences. So they are just, they are just they only perform reconciliation, like they only identify what makes the difference. They only identify what are the reconciling items, but no further work has been performed. Okay, now I think this one I need to explain this further. Reconciling item. Okay, number 1, due to timing differences, such as goods in transit and payment in transit. If it is due to timing differences, no need to do anything, meaning that no further work. You don't have to amend your record. You don't have to ask your supplier to amend their record. No need to do anything because this is just a timing differences. In 2 or 3 days after that, it will be, each other will agree already because due to timing differences only. Okay, number 2, if it is not timing differences, if it is due to error. Error here means maybe there's an invoice not recorded. That's why here stating that balance owed by the company higher than the balance on the payable ledger, meaning that our client's record is lower than their supplier. So perhaps the reconciling item is due to error instead of timing differences. Okay, so in this case, then need to do something already lah. Okay, which is to record lah. Record accordingly. Maybe there's some invoice that they not record, they miss out. Okay, sometimes unintentionally, sometimes intentionally. Why company don't want to record invoice? Why company intentionally refuse to record invoice, guys? It's because invoice will, by recording invoice from supplier, it will increase their trade payable. So that's why even in the real company out there, certain company, they delay in recording the invoice received from supplier because they don't want to show a high trade payables. They don't want to show a high current liability, especially if they have loan from the banker. But if they have loan from the from bank, and the loan that they secure have covenant attached to it, then sometimes the covenant is apa? Is to maintain current asset more than current liability. Okay, so they do this lah. They intentionally omit to record few invoices from supplier. Okay, so bring in our skepticism here. Okay, where is it? Hold on. Okay, not this one lah. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to say something here like, if reconciling item is due to error or omission in payable ledger, okay, later on, so what will happen is trade payable would be understated lah. Trade payable understated. Okay, right, move on. Do we have any figures to support this? Oh yeah, look. Just now you calculate kan, payable payment period last year was 81 days, decreased to 64 days. I would say this is very unusual. Why? Because it is not a normal practice for a company to pay their supplier even faster. When it comes to payment, the best practice for the company is to hold on the payment as, to pay as late as possible. To pay as late as possible. So when you see that, payable payment period decrease, I'm not agree in saying that they pay their supplier even faster. Why would company would want to pay supplier even faster? So I think bring in our skepticism as auditor. This decrease is due to understatement in trade payable. Understatement in trade payable. So that's why when you calculate trade payable just now, where is it? Trade payable, right? Last year was, last year was 3.2 million. This year was 1.9 million only. So I suspect this trade payable amount is understated. Okay. So put in our supporting ratios here. I'm just going to use back the wording used by examiner, which is payable payment period. Okay, payable payment period, what was that? A decrease from 81 days to 64 days. Again, don't bother to calculate the difference. Just throw it, throw the days as it is. Okay, Farzana, goods not received at the year end, implement of the records. Goods not received at the year end. Is there any saying that goods not received at the year end? Yes, goods not received at the year end means goods in transit. Okay, Farzana. Okay, good. Okay, we have 6 guys, which is, I will be happy if I have a solid 5 risk out of 7. I would be happy. If time's up, I'm just going to move forward to the next question. Because remember, to be able to pass AA, the first requirement is to finish up answer all question. I always believe that in my ACCA days. No matter how crappy is your answer, finish answer all question. Then only there is chance to pass. Okay, because crappy answer doesn't mean it's wrong. Maybe there's some marks here and there. Okay, continue. It has been discovered. What time is it now? 9 already. So fast. Oops. Okay, move on. It has been discovered that the soil relating to a batch of plants with a cost price of 0.1 million is contaminated, meaning that the plants may not be able to be sold. Tests are currently being carried out to determine whether the contamination can be remedied. Okay, why talk about plant, guys? What are they selling? They are selling garden supplies. So here is basically soil relating to batch of plants. Okay, so meaning that, guys, is this the issues of IAS 2 or IAS 16? Which one? This is IAS 2 issues or IAS 16 issues? Type in the chat box for me. Okay, good. Okay, it's because in examiner's report, examiner mentioned that some of the student highlight, perhaps because the word plant used here, so certain student highlight the issues of IAS 16. Okay, now contaminated. Okay, and may not be able to sold. Okay, and they are currently considering whether can still, remedy it or not. Okay, so bring in my skepticism as auditor. I'm not going to, spend time in considering which of the sentence to be included. I'm just going to copy and paste everything here, which is, I think, it's a brilliant move because I want to save time. Okay, so I'm going to bring in the skepticism of if it can't be sold, and if client did not write off, therefore inventory is overstated, right? If it can't be sold and if client did not write off, inventory is overstated. Or if it can be remedied, but cost is high, then NRV might be lower, NRV is selling price less cost to sell. NRV might be lower, okay, than its cost. Okay, but this one is a bit, it's a bit difficult. Not difficult formula, of course, but for you guys in 3 hours time, okay, so might be a bit time consuming to think about this. So I think this is the best one. Okay, however, I'm just going to put in here, if it can be remedied but cost is high, then NRV might be lower than its cost. Okay, if not written down, then again, inventory is overstated. Okay, done. All right. Inventory holding period. Contaminated. Okay, since there's information relating to inventory here, I think it's good for us to put it here as well. Okay. Right. As long as it, consistent. Okay, then you can say that inventory holding period also increased from 28 to 55 days. Okay, which indicate company took longer time to sell their plant, to sell their goods, something like that. Okay, but if you did not include this, can you still get marks? The answer is yes, still get marks, so you don't have to worry. Okay, still get marks. It's just that your answer will be more of a high quality answer. Okay, contaminated, done. The report to management issued the following. 2000 for audit indicates significant numbers of deficiency noted in the payroll cycle. I think this point is very, very hidden, very short in the last paragraph. Okay, significant numbers of deficiencies noted in the payroll cycle of the business. Guys, this one is also actually part of the control risk. Remember just now I mentioned to you, control risk here means that either no internal control or poor internal control. So if you saw that in the scenario stating that deficiency in the payroll cycle, it means deficiency in internal control as per what we have learned in chapter internal control, right? So the sentence is actually directed towards a poor internal control in the payroll cycle. Okay, so you might want to you can pick this as your answer. Okay, so the explanation here would be, okay, if the report to management issued following the prior year audit. Okay, prior year audit. So I'm going to bring in my skepticism, saying that if for current year and still not improved, then perhaps payroll accounts is misstated. Okay, because a poor internal control in whatever department, whatever cycle, whatever system will impact the respective financial statement. Okay, done. So what we have here, inventory holding period, receivable collection period, have we utilized it? Yes. Okay, just now we calculate operating profit margin, right? What about operating profit margin? Decreased significantly. Okay, operating profit is here. Operating profit, gross profit. Cash in hand. Guys, take note, cash in hand. I think this is still okay because they still have money in the bank. Okay. Trade receivable increased significantly. Inventory. Okay lah. Actually, my point of view right now is I'm trying to evaluate, is there any issues on this? Is there any issues on going concern? Which I think no issues on going concern in this scenario. Why? It's because I think they still have cash, still making sales. Okay, it doesn't really show a doesn't really show a poor cash, flow. Okay, so I'm not going to use this, and it's okay. I did use this, but I did not use the OPM, which is still okay, right? So now we have more than what we need. So as a student, guys, choose the basics that you would like to use and explain. Okay, let's say we don't want to talk about this just now, the cash shortage. Okay, perhaps let's drop this. Okay, drop this, and also this one also, point number 8. If you're not comfortable with this, then just ignore. If examiner asks for 7, I suggest not to give extra. Just 7 and you are done. Okay, because solid 5 points also is already possible for you. So no need to waste time in giving extra 1 or 2. No need lah. All right, now let's go fill in the answer accordingly. Okay, I think in a while I will take a 15 minutes break because I haven't had my dinner. Tadi tak sempat. Okay, so let's write answer for this. Any question? You may type in the chat box now before I start writing answer. Okay, Izwan, madam, wajib ke letak standard dulu baru risk atau masukkan standard sekali dalam risk? Okay. If you want to quote your accounting standard, can, but no marks for that. If you are, macam ni lah, kalau you dah pro, tak payah tulis, tak payah quote accounting standard, just straight away bagi itu, bagi you punya professional skepticism you lah, bagi you punya risk terus. The reason why certain lecturers ask you to quote accounting standard in your audit risk answer is to guide you on what is the audit risk, which is a good method. But if kalau I okay cara tu, tapi nak dekat exam, I will just drop that lah, because yelah, by the time you want to sit for exam, you dah pro dah kan untuk tulis audit risk, so there's no need for you to quote accounting standard. But if you feel that you are comfortable that way, then go ahead. Okay, tapi ada markah tak? Is there any marks for you to quote accounting standard? No. Okay, EAA no. Okay, so wajib ke letak standard dulu baru risk? Tak wajib. Ataupun masukkan standard sekali dalam risk. Yeah, I'm going to blend the standard in my risk. Okay, alright. So now let's go. Let's go. Dari tadi lagi let's go kan. Okay, new client. Is this how you present your answer? Nope. Okay, no. So, apa? Something like this lah. Okay, put it in a proper sentence. If you don't want to think of the proper sentence, then just copy and paste. Okay, and then detection risk, right? Then you are going to say that this is new client. Therefore, so the wording for detection risk is a bit different as compared to my suggested setup just now. Suggested setup is start from if, right? If and then blah blah blah. But for detection risk, you are flexible. You are free to put your sentence as you wish. Okay, as long as there is a wording of detection risk. Alright, so this is a new client, therefore there are detection risks since, you have to explain lah, since auditor doesn't have any accumulated knowledge about this company. Okay, hence what? Material misstatement might not be detected. Full stop. Okay, new client, detection risk, no sufficient knowledge, therefore material misstatement might not be detected. Okay, that is the flow. This is my new client. I don't know anything about this client. Therefore, any mistake in the FS, I cannot identify. That is the flow. Okay, now response. What will we do? What should we do if this is a new audit client? Okay, I give you. This is the standard answer lah. Auditor should include more senior auditor in the team for the first year. Okay, and one more is auditor should spend more time during audit planning stage. During audit planning stage, for what? To gather as much information. Guys, hold on. Sorry, hold on. I lupa nak pesan kat husband I, for my anak I punya makanan. Sekejap Okay dah. Lupa pula tadi. Okay. Auditor should spend, ini kan punya flu ni kan lama betul. Auditor should spend more time during audit planning stage to gather as much information about time, as much information as possible. As possible about. Okay, done. That is our approach for new client. Because yeah, when we spend time during the audit planning, that is where we know, that is when we can we get to know the client. We get to know the client and we are going to communicate to our audit team member. Okay, what is this client all about? What is the risky areas? There's a problem in this, there's a problem in that. Okay, and we unable to do this, we unable to communicate this to our audit team if our planning is very short. Okay, all right, I see some answer here in the chat box. Audit team not familiar with the account balances, policies, estimate transaction, and difficult to identify audit issues. This may increase an auditor's detection risk. There is also less assurance over opening balance as Crown and Co did not perform audit last year. Yes, this is a perfect answer. That is a perfect answer. Okay, you guys can also copy answer given by Sasi in the chat box. Okay, done. Let's move on. So my suggestion would be for you to fill in your audit risk and straight away fill in your response. And then move on to number 2, fill in your response. Moving on to number 3 and fill in your response. The wrong approach will be some student fill in all the audit risks first, okay, with the perfect answer, and they come back to the then only they revisit question number 1 to fill in the auditor's response. For me, if you do it that way, you will run out of time. Okay, it's because when you want to write answer relating to response, you have to read this audit risk again. Okay, so if you do it this way, this way, so you won't be wasting your time in reread your audit risk again and again. Okay, so do it that way. Okay, guys, I think we should have our short break a while, around 15 minutes. Okay, sorry, I can only give you one break for our 3 hours class, but yeah, 15 minutes, and then we continue until 11. Okay, I nak makan sat. Okay, 15 minutes. If you want to go coffee break, toilet break, okay, please do so. I'll come back in 15 minutes. Okay. Okay, guys, I'm back. I have some poll for you. Because I foresee that we cannot cover 2 audit risks in one go for tonight. So I want to ask you to vote on whether to attempt second audit risk as homework, or you want to attempt during class tomorrow night. I'm not going to do it together with you again. I'm going to let you do it on your own. But when do you want to do it? As homework, outside class, or during class tomorrow night? Okay, so please, I send you the link for this poll. Can you guys please vote? Certain students, they prefer to do it in during class because they are busy outside class. Because I want answer. I need answer from you. If my concern would be, what if I want to look into your answer tomorrow, but there's no answer? If I if I let you do it on your own. So can you guys please vote? The link is in the chat box. The link is in the chat box for you to vote on my poll where to attempt second audit risk as homework on your own or during class tomorrow night, which will take about, I think, half an hour. I give you about half an hour, then we can discuss. As homework during class tomorrow night. Some more. I need at least, we have 18 here. I need at least 15. I need at least 15 answer. 8. 5, 4, 6. 6 more votes to go. The question is, when do you want to attempt second audit risk? I need to see your answer. The second audit risk, you are going to do it on your own. Yeah, you are going to do it on your own. Because I want to see you applying the setup I've given you, applying yeah. 10 votes, perhaps maybe 3 more. 5, 3 more votes. 3 more votes needed because now it's a tie. Mute, eh? If 1 more vote lead to 7 versus 5, then do it as homework. But if another vote lead to 6 versus 6, I don't know lah. Maybe I have to make. Okay lah, the last person. Decide for me, please. The whole link is in the chat box. I need 1 more lah. 1 more. Faster, guys. Yes. We have question to attempt. 1 more? No? Siapa lagi belum vote ni? Oh, Shazlin ada 2. Okay. Syuhada dah vote dah. Zaid, Hasnul, Umar, Arvin. Okay, so during class tomorrow night then. Okay, during class tomorrow. Okay, so be prepared. The next question will be the next question of Orlando. 8 audit risk, 16 marks. 16 marks, calculate 16 marks times 1.8 minutes equal to 28 minutes. So I give you about 30 minutes only tomorrow, okay, to answer all questions. Okay, done. During class tomorrow night. Okay, so I think we can start around, I don't know, can we start around 8:10 or sharp at 8? If sharp at 8, I don't know how many person will be there. But never mind, I'll start at around 8:05 or 8:10 minutes, okay? And I let you attempt that question for 30 minutes. But promise me, don't look at the answer. Okay, now let's go. This is the question, this is the answer. You show screen. Okay. All right, so next, okay, so let's fill in the blank. So during the year, the company spent 0.75 million on refurbishing its store to improve the customer experience. All of this expenditure has been recognized in PPE. Okay, so may include revenue expenditure such as repairing. Alright, so this is me applying my setup, which my setup is for those, struggling student, weak student. But yeah, honestly, it doesn't matter how you put in your wording, you put in your answer, as long as you showcase your skepticism. There is a specific accounts that you want to highlight, the impacted accounts, okay? Impacted accounts you highlight, and then the impact of that accounts, whether it could be overstated or understated. These three must have. It doesn't matter how you arrange your wording, but these three must have. Okay, as per examiners. I punya semua ni makes me difficult to talk. Susah nak cakap sebab sometimes ada blocking nose kan. I'm so sorry guys. I dah makan ubat dah, but seems like the ubat doesn't really work. Okay, now, so I'm applying my setup, okay? So if my skepticism is this, okay? So if magpie include, no, capitalize, apa? Sorry, include lah. Include revenue, oh sorry, if 0.75 million, okay, capitalize as PPE, includes revenue expenditure such as repairing works or refurbishment. Okay, if you want to quote accounting standard, then blend it like this, which is not complying with IAS 16. Okay, therefore PPE will be overstated. Full stop. Okay, so this is my skepticism. This is the specific accounts, but in exam, please put it in a full sentence. Okay, specific accounts and the clear impact to FS overstated. Okay, done. Apa nak cakap tadi? Okay, mistake which examiner highlight in their examiner's report. Some student put it this way: NCA will be overstated, which is wrong. Examiner don't want this kind of answer. Examiner want you to identify precisely which accounts in the NCA is overstated or understated. Okay. All right, I received one answer in the chat box. If this expenditure is capital nature, it should be capitalized as part of PPE in accordance with IAS 16. However, if it is related to refurbishment expenses to SOPL, the PPE and profits may be overstated and expenses may be understated. Can I write like this? However, if it is related to when you highlight refurbishment, if it is related to the refurbishment is actually quite a gray areas as to some of the refurbishment costs can be capitalized. Some of the refurbishment costs cannot be capitalized. Okay, so I think you would want to replace that sentence on however if it is related to the however if it is hold on. However, if it is related to the revenue expenditure lah, maybe it should be expense off to SOPL. Okay, failure to do so, PPE and profit may be overstated. Why profit overstated again? Oh yeah, because betul. And expenses may be understated. Yes. So I think it's a bit I have some issues on the refurbishment expenses because it's a gray line. Alright. Oh yeah, I lupa nak cakap tadi guys. So sorry, I forgot to mention to you. I noticed. Hold on, let me just double confirm. Just now I look into the latest mock exam. Not this one. Sorry, this one I just terfikir, baru terfikir. Hold on ya. Ini apa? Not this one. Maybe this one. No. This one. Okay, never mind. Alright. Okay guys, do consider to put in 2 accounts in the impact to FS here. Impact to accounts and impact to FS here. So for example, therefore PPE and profit lah kan, and profit could be overstated, right? Hold on. Okay. If they did not capitalize, then they will put it. Okay, right? So yes, you can put in here profit as well. Okay. But if you just put one, I think there's still no issues. But just that my concern, some of the examiners answer, they put in two accounts, meaning that PPE and profit. Okay, like say, yeah, PPE and profit. What else? Intangible asset and expenses, something like that. Okay, two accounts. So you might want to consider, if you are sure, then you can put two accounts lah, two accounts and two impact to FS, whether overstate or understate. Okay, however, one I believe is still sufficient, but sometimes if you want to consider to put in two, yes, you can do so. Okay, later I will try to investigate further whether there is need to put in two accounts or not, because the latest answer given by examiner, they just put one, but the previous sitting they put two. So I'm not really sure. I'm going to ask another lecturers just to double confirm. Okay, so now stick to dua boleh, satu pun boleh. Okay, alright, now response. Okay, if this is my concern is what if client include those expenses which should be recognized in SOPL. That is my concern. How am I going to address that concern? Basically, I'm going to obtain the breakdown. Okay, obtain breakdown of 0.75 million. Okay, capitalize as PPE for what? To assess the nature of all costs capitalized, whether it meets capitalization criteria set out in capital as per IAS 16. Okay, so this is my plans to address my concern. Okay, obtain breakdown of 7.0 million. Capitalized as PPE to assess the nature of all costs capitalized, whether it meets capitalization criteria as per IAS 16. If some of the cost did not, or if some of the cost is revenue, because we have capital expenditure and revenue expenditure, right? So I'm going to use that wording, that jargon here. So if some of the cost is revenue expenditure, discuss with management. Okay, full stop. Okay, done. Of course, this is not the ultimate answer. There's a lot of other answers. Not a lot lah. There's a few other answers applicable here. Yeah, but the answer I've given is the usual one. Okay, answer which easy for you to remember, easy for you to replicate in the exam. Okay, so if you have other answer, you might want to boleh je nak guna. Okay, continue. In addition, the company also installed a new sales system during the year. Okay, this is about the system just now. My concern is what if there is loss of data or new system not reliable. Okay, so I'm going to highlight, I think both lah. Okay, so if there is loss of data during transfer between old and new system, okay, so what accounts is affected just now? The system is relating to which system? Sales and receivable. Okay, hence sales and receivable, okay, might be, if there's a loss of data, so might be over or under. For me, it's going to be understated. Okay, if there's a loss of data during transfer between old and the new system, hence sales and receivable might be understated. Okay, you might, up to you, if you want to throw in two risks but not advisable, I think one would do. Okay, but if you are not, I don't know, certain student dia rasa macam, oh, I nak campak dua-dua soalan, dua-dua jawapan, I think no issues. But is it necessary? Not really. Okay, so another option of answer would be, what if the new system not reliable? Okay, since it is not run in parallel. Okay, so I'm going to say that if the new sales and receivable system is not reliable in what? In capturing data. Okay, data and since the new system did not run in parallel with the old one. Okay, so I'm going to say that sales and receivable. Okay, if the new sales and receivable system is not reliable in capturing data, okay, and since the new system did not run in parallel with the old one, sales and receivable could be, okay, in this case, I'm going to highlight that sales and receivable could be materially misstated. Why is that? It's because if system is not reliable, to be honest, even in real life, we wouldn't know if the amount appear in the system is overstated or understated. There could be some bugs, system error here and there that could lead to our figure, figure appear in the system is either over or under. And some more it did not run in parallel. So yeah, we cannot agree back to the old system, right? So here, yes, you can apply. You can, the impact to FS here, you can say that those account could be generally materially misstated. All right? Okay. Now, what is auditor's procedure relating to the new system? Guys, if client apply or adopt new system, as auditor, I'm going to call my IT department. For what purpose? To test the system. I, as auditor, I don't have any expertise relating to the new system. Relating to any system. I am just, I am just a stupid auditor. I'm just a common auditor. Do I know about IT? No, I tak tahu apa-apa pasal IT. Maybe your partner know a bit about IT, but not you. Okay, so maybe as a manager or even partner is going to arrange for the IT department in the firm to test the system, whether it is reliable, it is complete, reliable to as in whatever data we put in, it will appear in the FS. Whether the internal control in the system is robust. That is what auditor is going to do if client adopt new system. And one more thing, we are going to inquire the management. Okay, we are going to inquire the management. Did you provide training to your staff? This is important. Because even though the system is reliable, but if the staff don't know how to use the new system, then that's the end of the world. Even though the system is very tip-top, but no training provided, I could assure you there's a lot of misstatement in FS. Okay, so our answer here would be auditor should what? Auditor should arrange for the new system to be tested by IT expert. Okay, in terms of what? In terms of reliability of the system. Yes, you can put your answer in a point form, but in a proper sentence. Okay, so auditor should arrange for the new system to be tested by IT expert in terms of reliability of the system. In terms of input and output of the data. Okay, and then what else? And number two is I would want to inquire management on whether on whether training has been given to staff in using and applying using this new system. Okay, just now I missed out in terms of effectiveness of internal control in the system. Okay, how reliable it is, make sure input, agree to the output, and effectiveness of the internal control in the system. Internal control in the system here means, guys, the password, who can access this, who can amend that, who can filter this, who can delete that. Okay, that is internal control, which is very important in new accounting system. Okay, we don't want, somebody don't know who suddenly delete some data accidentally delete some data in the system. Okay, we don't want that. So that's why we want to look into the internal control in the new system. Okay, done. What else for the system? Any other points that you want to add in here relating to the system? Careful, guys. When you are being tested relating to the system, identify first this new system is relating to what. In this case, it's sales and receivable. In other scenario, it is relating to the new system, relating to payroll only. In another setting, system relating to inventory only. In another setting, system relating to the whole accounting system. So please identify first this system relating to which accounts, which you should be highlighted. Yeah, it should be highlighted here. If it is the whole new, the whole accounting system is the new one, therefore impact to the FS here would be you are going to say finance pula. Hence, financial statement as a whole could be materially misstated. Okay, this is the case if the company adopt the new accounting system, not only relating to sales, not only relating to inventory, but the whole accounting system. Therefore, you can say FS could be materially misstated. Okay, and the response would be the same. All right, move on. Number 4. This is relating to the cash shortage just now. Perhaps some people here in this client, they cash theft. I think this is due to cash theft. Okay, so how do we write answer relating to this fraud risk in audit risk question? Okay, macam mana? Okay, you can say that. Macam mana dah? Hold on, let me think of a wording. Okay. So this wording, since I am not talking about, about accounting standards, since I'm talking about control risk, I'm not going to apply the setup I've shared with you. So this one again is quite flexible. So I'm going to say that cash shortage could indicate cash theft, which is a fraud. Okay, this will increase the control risk when this will increase the control risk, and if it is not being rectified, okay, it could lead to apa ni, kenapa I macam blur point ini sekejap hold on guys, give me a second, or if you have a brilliant answer you can share with us. Hold on. Maybe yeah, I think this is it lah. Okay, Sasi share answer. There is risk that these discrepancies are a result of fraud, and several cash shortage could become material when aggregates. Okay. In addition, an increase in control risk arise when internal control being detected a problem by this. This is a very good answer. Okay. Guys, you may refer to the chat box for answer, which is that answer is consistent with examiner's report. Just now I was thinking never mind. There's some thinking process in my mind. But this one I already cross-checked to examiner's answer, examiner's report. Okay. I would like to read this to you. Hold on. Okay. Examiner mentioned that this risk should have been explained as leading to a control risk and increased fraud risk, as cash shortage could be indicative of fraudulent behavior. Okay, so it's sufficient for us to indicate that this is control risk and highlight that this is a fraud. This is a form of fraud. Okay, so I think it is consistent with the answer shared by Sasi here. Okay, so I'm going to I'm going to copy her answer into my answer. So it could lead to, I think okay juga, material misstatement in cash if the issues prolong. Okay. Okay, I think my answer consistent with examiner's report, examiner's requirement, and this answer is also acceptable. Okay, this is also correct answer. Okay, now response. If we excuse me, if we are faced with control risk, what do we do is we have to okay, I think it's this is half mark answer first. Okay, auditor should increase professional skepticism, especially when auditing cash what? This is a short, right? This is a store. Okay, auditing cash what? Auditing cash revenue and auditing cash revenue. When auditing, sorry guys, I want to rephrase this. Revenue derived, okay, from cash sales. All right. But this one, examiner already mentioned, when you apply, just a very general, you mentioned that auditor should increase professional skepticism. You can only get half mark. Okay, half mark only, because this is very general. Right. Oh, I want to inform you also, perhaps some of you have this confusion as to how many response should you put into this, into this auditor's response. I would say 2 is advisable. 2 response is advisable. However, if you have a good one, okay, a very good one auditor's response, then that is enough for you to get 1 mark. Okay, advisable 2 lah. Advisable you put in 2, but if you have, a very solid, a very complete, a very good response, so 1 response would do. Okay, so yeah, just to be on the safe side, I throw 2 response. But if you put in 1, you don't have to be so stressed. It's okay. Okay, it's okay. All right. So what else? Here. So all right, we detected fraud kan. we suspected fraud. So what's next? As auditor, okay, suspected fraud should be investigated further, and if the fraud seems to be serious, okay, this is actually the steps to be taken by the auditor if they encounter fraud. Okay, this is a very good answer. Should be investigated further, and if the fraud seems to be serious, auditor should communicate to higher level management for future improvement. Okay, done. Perhaps in our opinion, for that year, the cash theft is immaterial in terms of amount, but fraud is it could be a serious issue. So we are going to communicate the suspected fraud, investigated fraud, detected fraud to the higher level management, or to be specific, TCWG, those charged with governance, aka audit committee, same person. Okay, audit committee and TCWG is the same person, which is they are what we call as a higher level management. Okay, done. That is relating to fraud or control risk. Right, next. Customer took longer time to pay our client. Okay, so I'm going to fill in here if Magpie, okay, did not recognize sufficient allowance for, when we have answer plan here already, so during that, when you want to fill in your answer, it will be a lot faster. Okay, if Magpie did not recognize sufficient allowance for Dakfuda due to certain customer paying late. Okay, so trade receivable could be overstated, and expenses and profit also could be overstated, right? Because so this is from the information, and this is for receivable for prior year also increase. Okay, let's highlight this increase lah. I would want to include the word increase from, no need to increase by how much, just from these days, okay, to 149 days. Okay, done. So this is just a answer planning. All right, now what is our, if this is our concern, what is our approach as auditor? Our concern is that receivable pay, 149 days is like 5 months, right? 5 months late. That is so late, right? So I guess first we should identify which of the customer paying in late. Okay, so how do we, which document should we obtain to understand which of the customer, didn't pay for a very long time? The answer is from the aging. Okay, trade receivable aging. Hold on, is there any chat here? Okay, question from Farzana. Madam, kalau issue dia client tak expense of the amount fraud tu boleh ke? Okay, good question. But guys, look into Farzana's question. Farzana would like to highlight the issues of client did not expense of the cash theft, which is highlighted by the examiner in the report. Okay, hold on, where is it now? Hilang pula. Sekejap Okay. Okay. Alright. Now I want to answer Farzana's question. Please imagine this. Which one is more important? For the company to get rid of that fraudulent activity, or for the company to write off the impact of the cash theft? Which one is more important? Which one is more, yang mana lagi penting? Write off cash shortage ke? Ataupun settle yang, catch the fraudster, prevent this fraud, improve internal control to prevent further fraud? Which one is more important to the company or to the financial statement in the long run? Because the amount of the cash shortage is quite small. So while yes, it is not wrong, okay, but examiner, okay, this is stated in examiner's report. Dia cakap apa tau? In addition, some risk explanation were inappropriate. For example, candidate explained the issue of the cash shortage on daily reports not being investigated as being a risk that cash is misstated. Instead, the risk should be have explained as leading to a control risk and increased fraud risk, as cash shortage could be indicative of fraud behavior. So in my opinion, what examiner trying to say in her report is that the most important issues relating to this cash shortage is not really to write off the cash amount, which is kena buat juga, tapi tak adalah penting sangat. Tapi yang paling penting ialah there is a fraudulent activity going on in the company, and it should be settled lah. It should be taken care of. Dia fall under category of control risk. Okay, apa ni? Sebab madam, kalau company tu get rid of fraud tu bukan business risk ke? Issue write off ni lebih kepada audit risk lah madam. Okay, this is also an audit risk because it falls under the category of control risk. Okay, if let's say you nak cakap yang this is more towards business risk, the answer would be something like this. The answer would be something like this. Apa? Okay, the answer would be something like this. Okay, if the fraudulent activity did not being prevented, if the fraudulent activity of the cash theft is not being prevented, therefore apa business risk? Apa impact to the company? Therefore apa? Therefore, I nak cakap yang there's issue of cash flow, tapi I tak boleh cakap issue of cash flow because the amount is small. Faham tak? Maybe it could be material, but in what? In 10 years, then only it could be material. So, it is not that serious for us to, nak cakap pasal business risk pun tak boleh sebab it won't really lead to business risk. Unless the amount is very material and it happens in all store, and some more the company kan is accept revenue or accept customer paying via cash or via credit card. So macam mana? It doesn't macam takkanlah ada staff yang ambil the whole cash. Nanti macam kena tangkap pula. So this cash shortage, the scale of this cash shortage is not very material lah to the company. Okay, because it's not very material to the company, these issues of the cash shortage. So kalau kita nak, kalau let's say I nak cakap apa, so business risk memang tak boleh lah kan. Okay, so nak cakap pasal issue write off pun, yes, is correct. The impact of the cash shortage should be written off in the cash accounts. However, that is not the pressing issues. The more pressing issues is the increase in control risk, which could lead to material misstatement in the financial statement in the long run. Okay, that is in double A, that is the point of view lah. But I guess, okay, if you would like to talk about the impact of the cash should be written off, it doesn't really totally wrong. Okay, but just that it is not that serious. If you face these gray areas, guys, I suggest you drop this as part of your answer. I mean, just use another answer. Okay, use those points which you really confident of the risk of the answer of your explanation. Okay, because 7 audit risks, at least 5 of them must be accurate. You must secure at least 10 marks out of 14 marks. Okay, nanti kalau you tak okay dengan this explanation, I try to ask others. I try to ask my other lecturers on what is their view on this. Okay, tapi I agree je dengan you. Kalau I tak baca examiners punya report, I would say, cash should be, the impact of the cash shortage should be written off. But examiner dia kata dia tak suka jawapan tu sebab not really important lah for the company and for the auditor. Okay, sebab cash dia kan sikit saja. Okay, so back to this, relating to the receivable just now, then over this increase and customer is starting to pay very late. So we want to know who is this culprit lah. So we are going to obtain trade receivable aging report for what? To identify which of the customer, okay, have long outstanding balances. Okay, or have old balances, okay, remain unpaid. Okay, so after I obtain this aging report, after I identify which one of the customer, which one or which two, which three, which four of the customer have long outstanding balance, I'm going to discuss with management. Use this word, guys, so that you will look a bit brilliant. Okay, discuss with management on the recoverability status, okay, of these balances. Okay, and if further or additional, discuss with management on the recoverability status of these balances, and if not recoverable, kalau dah tak recoverable, ask client to increase. This is my plan lah. As auditor, this will be my plan. Okay, if not recoverable, after discussion with management, we notice that this one is not recoverable already. Certain customer dah bankrupt. Okay, so we are going to ask client to increase their allowance for doubtful debt. Okay, I think this is very famous issues in the exam. Okay, so yeah, you should make use of this. I give you a few seconds here. Okay, Moving on. Number 6. This one is relating to supplier statement just now. What is that? Yeah, our client's record is lower than their supplier's record, right? Something wrong there. I would say straight away, maybe lah. I think they really, if this is a real client, I would say client ni memang dia dah suruh invoice dia. They refuse to record their invoices. They refuse to record their supplier's invoice, purchase invoice. Okay, so we have these points right here, and then payable period also decrease from this to this. Okay, so I'm going to say, this sentence, if reconciling item is due to error or omission in payable ledger. But this is my skepticism. But Magpie did not make adjustment. Okay, did not. So this is my skepticism. Difference. Reconciling item is difference now. If difference due to error or omission, but Magpie did not make adjustment. This is my skepticism. So what is the accounts affected? Trade payable. Trade payable will be understated. Obviously, it will be understated. Why? Because they stated here that balance owing by the company, in the supplier statement, shown a balance owing by the company higher than the balance on payable ledger. So your client payable ledger is lower. So it is understated. Okay? All right. So what is my plan as auditor? Of course, I want to know what is the difference, right? Before I go, talk to the management, talk to the management. Before I go bombard them with some question, I'm going to inspect the reconciliation performed due to these differences. Okay, if any of the differences due to error or omission, inquire management whether have they adjust their payable ledger. Am I going to just inquire? No. Agree adjustment made in the ledger, in the payable ledger. So can you see the story there? I'm going to inspect the recon first. Okay. So if any of the differences is due to error or omission, if it is relating to in transit, I'm just going to ignore. However, if it is due to error or omission, then I'm going to inquire management. Hey, this one you adjust already or not? Let's say client mentioned, yeah, I adjust already. Don't just take it at face value. Don't trust them. You go agree the adjustment made in the payable ledger. Okay, done. Itu je. Okay, next. This is relating to the soil just now, right? Their inventory cannot be sold. Okay, so this is my answer here. If it can't be sold, okay, if the contaminated inventory cannot be sold and if client did not write off, inventory is overstated and profit also, inventory and profit is overstated. Or you can say inventory is overstated and expenses is understated. Because write-off is part of expenses, right? Then you can say that since there is no write-off, expenses can be understated. Okay, so your answer here, response would be, this is our concern. Cannot be sold, but client did not write off. How do we settle this? How do we settle this? So I think I'm going to
quotation.
Yeah, I think quotation is fair. It has been discovered as soil contaminated, may not be able to sold, kan? May not. So I'm going to obtain from management any quotation. Let's say someone interested to buy this contaminated batch, kan? Obtain from management any quotation. Bukan receive quotation. What's that? Given to customer for this contaminated plants. Okay, to verify their maybe NRP. Okay, you can put in bracket if any. I think this in bracket things it can come in handy to AA and AAA. Meaning that if you want to explain something and you want to tell examiner, I am talking about this relating to this. Something like that lah, kan? Sometimes we want to explain further, but we want to put it in a simple way. So you can actually make use of this bracket. Okay, tak salah pun. Alright, okay. If there is no interested customer, okay, ask management whether it has been written off in SOPL lah, of course. Done. Okay, I think guys, this one, you would want to, auditor lah, would want to verify this as well. Is it true that the contaminated plant, okay, the total of the contaminated plant is only 0.1 million? Or is there any other? Ni kalau real auditor, they would do that, they would do this lah. Finance director mentioned that, okay, we have 100,000 of plants being contaminated. I don't think we can sell them. Or maybe we can sell them at a very discounted price. Then, real auditor, I mean, out there lah, will try to verify this. Betul ke 0.1 million je? Is there any other? Is it true only 0.1 million? Okay, so you might want to, I don't know if you want to put this, if you want to verify this 0.1 million, also can lah. Maybe you want to apa? Obtain breakdown, okay, of list, obtain breakdown lah, of a list lah, of contaminated plants, okay, to verify cost of 0.1 million. Okay. Okay. Right, I think this one, if you want to include this, then better put it in the first response. Okay, obtain from management quotation given to customer for this customer. Okay, I think this is a very good answer. All right, done. Last one, payroll. Okay, so my answer for this one would be if this is relating to deficiency, right? Okay, so apa ya? Yeah, if payroll, if the current year payroll cycle, sorry, I think I just, if internal control deficiencies relating to payroll cycle is not being apa ya? Is not being improved. Okay, for current year, then I would say, you know, payroll accounts would be materially misstated. I'm just going to go into this direction lah. I'm just I think I favor towards this direction, since there is a deficiency in the payroll department, in the payroll system, so payroll's account could be materially misstated. Okay, but this is issues of last year, right? So I as auditor, what would I do this year is I would inquire lah management. Okay, is there any changes or apa improvement? What is another word for improvement? Is there any improvement? Addition. No, cannot. Inquire management. Is there any improvement in internal control in payroll cycle for current year? Okay, so the story is, guys, if there is, auditor should perform apa? This is relating to internal control. So if the internal control is improving, okay, change and improve, auditor should perform test of control. Control on payroll cycle. Okay, and okay, so the story is and if apa, there is improvement, auditor can rely on TOC, something like that lah. Okay, can rely on the TOC. Can rely on TOC. Sorry, I think I want to replace this. If there is improvement, then auditor should perform TOC, and if it is effective lah. If the improvement is effective, and if it is effective, auditor can rely on TOC. Okay, done. 8. So guys, around more or less around 2 hours and a plus to write answer for this audit risk. But this one is, you know, sebab I cakap lah. Okay, so this is how you answer a audit risk question. Okay, now I want to show you. Any question before I continue a bit more? Any confusion that you want to clarify? Anything you disagree with? You can come forward and ask. Okay, no, all right. Okay. I agree with you lah. The current audit risk question is not very easy lah, to be honest. So there's no point for us looking into those easy old question anymore. You must embrace the current pattern or the current level of difficulties lah. Okay, now I want to show you this one. If let's say in your exam you notice that, since like in audit risk, in audit risk only, in audit risk lah, you notice that, oh, perhaps, you know, this client may no longer going concern. I give you an example. Maybe somewhere here mentioned that they lost a key customer, they're unable to pay their supplier due to cash shortage. Okay, and the results of the financial statement, they are not making, okay, gross profit is not that much. Inventory is significantly higher, meaning that inventory is no increase is because their goods remain unsold usually. Okay, and then you see their trade receivable also increase, which indicate that their customer is not paying them, meaning that there's no, they don't have that much cash. And then look into the cash. If let's say last year they have cash in hand, this year cash in hand 0, instead they have cash overdraft. Okay, and when you calculate the ratios, you get current ratios less than 1. Okay, so you notice there's a lot of indication. Let's say this one is, let's say not applicable to this scenario. Let's say you notice that this customer, this client might not be going concern. So you can use that. That is actually a correct point for audit risk. But why? You have to remember, when client prepare financial statement, first they should evaluate whether they are going concern or not going concern. This is something that have to do with the financial statement. That's why you boleh cakap dalam audit risk. Okay, so now, in the client's point of view, if they notice that they are going concern, they can still sustain, then they should prepare their FS as usual. As usual here means by using historical cost convention. What is historical cost convention? Just like your usual FS, which you have your non-current asset, non-current liability, current asset, current liability, disclosure, just like usual. Okay, but if as a company you notice that your company is no longer going concern, therefore you have to prepare your financial statement using breakup basis. I repeat, breakup basis. Breakup basis here means what's that? There's no more non-current asset or non-current liability. Everything will be reclassed to current asset and current liability. And relating to the figure, I believe they should restate the figure to the market value or something like that. Okay, and one more thing. Okay, if the company is no longer going concern or have some indication of not going concern, they should disclose in their financial statement. Okay, I want you to understand this first. Why going concern can be included in audit risk question, because going concern status of the company will impact how client prepare their FS, will impact on how client disclose the items in the financial statement or disclose the indicators of them, maybe not going concern. Okay, in Malay is, kalau diorang rasa diorang tak going concern, kena disclose. Okay, the main point that I want to communicate to you now is actually, if they have some indicators of not going concern, they should disclose. If they did not disclose, this represent material misstatement in the FS. Okay, so how to present this in your answer? Guys, look at this. Okay, this is my suggested approach. So if you notice there's a going concern issues and you want to include in audit risk, this is how you present your answer. You say that there are few indicators of the company lah on this ABC Co. Okay, Magpie Co, not going concern, which are, okay, I suggest you to list 3. What are indicators that you found in scenario? Okay, let's say lost key customer. What else? In cash overdraft. Position instead of cash in hand. Okay, number 3 is, let's say current ratio, okay, less than 1. Okay, so this is your identification of the issues. How you explain? Okay, explain. You can say that these indicators of company may not confirm yet, may no longer going concern, should be disclosed in financial statement, or to be specific, in the notes to financial statement. Okay, then you cakap lah, if Magpie did not disclose, what is the impact? Which accounts impact? There's no specific account, just you check out financial statement. Because disclosure, guys, is part of the FS. You imagine you yourself is a FS. So if there's no disclosure, meaning that you don't have one hand lah. Macam tak cukup tak complete. So if Magpie did not disclose these indicators FS contain material misstatement. Okay, Or in the chat box, I saw Sasi highlight the issue of liquidity. So yes, you might want to explain further here, saying that there is some liquidity issues in the company. Okay, but this is important lah. Indicators must be disclosed. If they not disclosed, FS contain material misstatement. Okay, now response. What do we do if our client, have some indicators? This is a quite general answer lah. We are going to obtain cash flow forecast. Okay, for the next 5 years to evaluate the cash position for the cash position for Magpie. Okay, and then maybe inquire management to further assess their going concern status. Okay, I think that is sufficient, because this question, audit risk question, is at the planning stage again. Planning stage. This is what we plan to do. This is what we are going to ask our audit team. You imagine you are manager. This is what you plan. This is what you plan. For your audit team to perform. Okay, you are going to ask your audit team to obtain cash flow forecast, and you are going to inquire or discuss with management to further assess. Are you sure you are going concern? Are you sure that you are going concern, or something like that? Please make evaluation whether are you still going concern. Because if you are not going concern, it's going to, your financial statement needs to be restated to breakup basis. Okay, adalah few soalan past your question that you may include issues on going concern. Okay, or I think one more lah. Or another option of answer is if the company no longer going concern, but this is my skepticism, but they prepare FS using going concern basis, aka historical cost convention basis. Okay, therefore FS is misstated, materially misstated. Okay, another option of answer. If the companies, either you want to go to the directions of indicators not disclosed, or you want to go to the directions of the wrong basis in preparation of FS. Either way, this is the response, same response. Okay, done. I think I'm done for today. Okay, another answer from Sasi. Review any agreement with the bank to determine any covenant have been breached with regards to the bank loan or overdraft. Yes, you can use this only if they have loan, only if they have bank overdraft. Okay, make sure they have either one, then you can use this part of your response. Okay, done. I think I'm done for tonight. This is slow motion of audit risk. Of course, in real exam, you have to be very fast. Okay, so my suggestion is that, I don't know, have you, those yang kerja dah start study leave ke belum? Belum kot belum kan? Okay. But anyway, I suggest before class tomorrow, since we are going to attempt second one on during class tomorrow, right? If you have time, look into, okay, please attempt one audit risk question on your own. You pick your own question. It's best if it is a latest question. You do it one more time. Apply the thinking process I teach you. Okay, apply the thinking process I teach you, just to make sure that whatever you understand tonight, okay, will be there until exam day. So try attempt on your own one more audit risk question on your own. You pick your own question, recent question. Okay, so I shall see you tomorrow. Again, we are going to look into your answer. So tonight is about my answer. Tomorrow is about your answer. I want to look into your answer. I want to I want to highlight lah your mistake, if any. Okay, and perhaps you can see how I mark answer, so that you know what type of answer is correct, what type of answer is wrong. Okay, all right, done. Any question? If no question, I think we are okay to go. Tak ada. Okay guys, if no question.